this is a topic that might break some hearts, but in reality, people don't really understand the gravity of what they're doing or they're not doing by doing this, and understand when it is effective to do this. And I'm talking about pre-workout carbs. When do you need pre-workout carbs? Do you even need pre-workout carbs? What do pre-workout carbs even do, right? What is the necessity to have simple, fast digesting carbohydrates prior to a workout, right? So in the grand scheme of things, in the basic understanding, right? Carbohydrates turn into sugars that your body can now store as glycogen, right? Long story short, that glycogen is fuel for your muscles to use for a workout, right? And ultimately, think of a gas tank in a car. If I want to get from point A to B as fast as possible, I'm going to want to floor that car as fast as much as I can the whole time, right? To get there as fast as possible. That's going to use more gas. So if I have half a gas tank trying to go from point A to B, I probably can't floor it as long. So that's why you want this gas tank to be full so you can floor it as long as possible, right? In a perfect world. Now, here's the issue that I see. 99, I would say probably 97%, more actually closer to 99% of people do not need these extra carbohydrates before training because they have too much body fat. They already eat more than they need. They don't train hard enough to even need that extra gas in the gas tank or glycogen, but they like to use it to justify eating more or even eating stupid things, in my opinion, prior to training. The biggest culprit that I see is people who eat these gummy worm little strips or whatever that are like extremely overweight, especially like powerlifters who have like so much excess body fat that think they need these extra carbohydrates to be able to go train. The fact of the matter, the only time you're really going to need these pre-workout carbohydrates is if you are in a glycogen deficient or depleted state. Chances are, if you are just a normal individual, like 99% of us are, you're training, you're eating, right? You're conscious of what you're doing. You're not going to need a specific high carbohydrate, simple carbohydrate meal prior to training because you trained yesterday, you've eaten through the night, right? Into the next day, your body is pretty efficient at storing new glycogen, and you're probably eating enough to have that happen. The times where you need to specify having extra carbohydrates or pre-workout carbohydrates before training, okay, is going to be the times when you're depleted. So somebody who's deep into a prep or somewhat midway through a prep if they're on schedule, right? Someone who's been dieting for a long time, somebody who notices that their training performance decreases, because what you're doing at this point is you're ingesting more calories for the sake of the same workout performance that you're going to get, right? And you're actually making your goal a little bit tougher. Right? In addition, if you're already overweight or have some issues with your body weight and body fat percentage, you're now creating another insulin spike throughout the day, okay? Which is now combating your growth hormone output because they work essentially opposite, right? Growth hormone goes up, insulin sensitivity goes down, vice versa, right? So you are creating this state, right, that isn't really optimal for your training and your growth in both muscle and decrease in body fat, because of this idea that you need to fill this gas tank up that's already full. And you can't overfill the gas tank. In addition, other times where this is necessary is going to be at other points, prior to a show or where you need to create some sort of cosmetic look. So this video is short and quick and to the point. What I'm really trying to get here is that not everybody needs carbohydrates pre-workout. Most people do not. Most people like the idea of it. Maybe there's a psychological aspect, but most people are not so glycogen depleted that they need this shuttling of carbohydrates pre-workout. I would argue that intra-workout carbs are going to be more important, right? Which you don't need a lot of, but most people, if they train long enough or hard enough, are going to need some sort of intra-carbohydrate supplement, or even I just do Gatorade powder, for example. Pre-workouts, unless you starved from the last workout to this one, right? You probably ate somewhat decent. You probably have enough stored body fat to also create that glycogen. I would argue that there's probably less of a need for you to do that. But obviously during the workout, as that gas tank starts to empty, right, you're going to need something to keep that gas tank full so you can keep going pedal to the metal. And I would argue whether you're overweight or not, that will happen because you can't break down body fat fast enough to create that glycogen in the middle of your workout. Hopefully this information gave you a little bit more insight. If you want to have your candy and crap because you like it, just call it what it is, but it's not giving you much of a benefit outside of that. And I'm here to save you time and get you to your goals quicker and optimize things. If you like this information and would like more, please subscribe to my channel. In addition, if you'd like to know what it'd be like to work with me one-on-one and you like more information, feel free to hit the application in the link in my bio or reach out to me directly via Instagram. Message me, I'm in or I'm interested, and I will give you the next steps.